Hello everyone. Welcome to a new episode of CPP tutorial video. Today we will study about C++ typecast. In every program, we have to deal with a lot of different kinds of variables with different data types. Sometimes we might be forced to cast one type to another data type before using it further. In order to apply appropriate typecast, you should have a good knowledge about different types of typecast available in C++. Let's start the tutorial. In C++, variables are used to store data in a memory location, which can be modified or used in the program during program execution. Every variable has to be declared before it can be used in the program. For declaring a variable, you need to specify the data type of the variable and a variable name. The data type indicates the type of data stored in the memory location, and the variable name represents the name of that particular memory location using which it is further accessed in the particular program. Here, an integer variable with the name age is created in the stack memory. Based on the data type, a particular size of memory is occupied in the stack. Here, 4 bytes of memory is occupied in stack memory to store the value 10 for an integer variable. So what is data type? Data type denotes the type of data stored in the corresponding memory location. In C++, there are three classifications of data types: primitive data type, derived data type, and user-defined data type. Primitive data types are built-in or predefined data types and can be used directly by the user to declare variables. Primary data types or primitive data types available in C++ are integer, character, boolean, floating point, double floating point, void, and byte character. Derived data types. Derived data types are data types that are derived from primitive or built-in data types. These can be of four types, namely array type, pointer type, reference type, and function type. User-defined data types are data types defined by user, such as defining a class in C++ or a structure. The user-defined data types are class, structure, union, enumeration. An overall reference into available type classifications are shown here. Now you know what is variables in C++ are and what all are the available C++ data types. Let's see what is C++ data type conversion. Data type conversion is a method of changing an entity from one data type to another. Typecasting is required to perform such data type conversion. In almost all programs, sometimes you might have encountered situations such as converting a character data type to integer data type, etc., and vice versa. In C++, there are two types of conversion possible, that is, implicit type conversion and explicit type conversion. Implicit type conversion. Implicit type conversion is also known as automatic type conversion. It is done by the compiler on its own without any external trigger from the user. The compiler promote or demote the data type based on the variable types involved in the expression. Here, in the example, the character variable is promoted to an integer data type. In this example, a float value is implicitly casted to a variable of integer data type. Compiler demotes the float data type to int and result in data loss of fractional part. Implicit cast applies to all type of data types, that is primitive, derived, and user-defined data types. Let's see how compiler attempts to perform the type conversion. First, compiler check whether trivial conversion can be performed. Trivial data type means it is either a scalar type or a trivial copyable class with a trivial default constructor or array of such type class. If a trivial conversions are not possible to be applied, compiler shall check whether data type promotion can be applied. Promotion means conversion to data type of higher storage size. An example is char data type to integer data type. Sometimes promotion cannot be applied, so compiler checks whether built-in data type conversion such as static cast, reinterpret cast, etc. can be performed. If built-in data type conversion cannot be performed, compiler now check whether any user-defined conversion is given. For example, if a conversion constructor is present for a user-defined class, then compiler uses that and performs the type conversion. If all possible attempts are failed, the compiler shall generate error at compilation. The programmer have to recheck and correct the code which allows proper conversion. Since implicit type conversion is performed by compiler automatically, it may result in unintentional data losses. Such unintentional data losses or data corruption can lead to undefined behavior at production environments where release builds are executed during live scenarios. The good practice is to avoid such implicit type conversion, which is automatically performed by the compiler. This way, the programmer can take the full responsibility for all type of conversions. Now we have completely seen what is implicit type conversion. Let's go forward with explicit typecast. Nowadays, most of the large-scale mission-critical software developers uses excellent static code analyzer softwares to capture all possible code issues that occur at compile time. Most of the static code analyzers software do complaints about implicit data type casting. The best and safest coding practice is to avoid code that result in implicit cast initiated automatically by compiler. If you do not have a workaround other than typecast conversion, perform explicit type conversion. Also, in that case, others shall know that the cast operation is performed intentionally. Even you can provide some valid comments stating the reason for conversion. Explicit typecasting, as the name suggests, is explicitly performed by the programmer. In this case, compiler shall not attempt to perform any sort of automatic type conversion. Instead, it tries to apply the casting you have specified. Explicit casting can be performed in two ways, using C-style casting and using C++-style dedicated cast keywords. C-style casting is used in older programs, especially C programs, to perform typecast operations. C-style casts are very widely used in legacy codes that are written before C++-style is introduced. As shown here, the character data type is casted to integer data type using C-style cast. C-style cast is dangerous as there is no compile time checking present. As shown here, the character data type is casted to integer data type using C-style cast. The character data type is casted to integer data type. Hence, here after casting to integer type pointer, in addition to the one char byte location, it accesses 3 more adjacent memory location also. This is because integer data type requires 4 bytes of memory. So this cast causes invalid memory access, which may lead to program crash or invalid data. Let's have a look at some of the disadvantages of C-style cast. C-style cast won't provide any sort of help in checking for any error at compile time. So the error in cast, if any, shall happen at runtime, causing undefined behavior such as invalid data or program crash. C-style casts are very hard to spot in a program. For example, you cannot conveniently search for C-style cast using an ordinary text editor or word processor. This invisibility of C-style cast is especially unfortunate because they are so damaging. So now we have covered C-style casting. Let's look at C++ style casting. To overcome the disadvantage of C-style casting, C++ style casting operators are introduced in C++ language by the Language Standard Committee. These operators are intended to remove some of the ambiguity and danger inherent in old style C language cast. In C++, you have to use specific unary cast operators for performing the required typecast. The various C++ typecast operators available are dynamic cast, static cast, const cast, reinterpret cast. Dynamic cast. The syntax of dynamic cast is as shown here. Dynamic cast is used for performing cast operation between polymorphic data types only. Dynamic cast can be performed only on pointer data types and referent data types of objects, which are related via some sort of inheritance. Dynamic cast is performed at runtime. Hence, if dynamic cast failed under any situation, it returns null pointer. Every application programmer must perform null check after performing dynamic cast operation in order to identify whether the cast was successful or not. If not null check, a failed dynamic cast can further cause application crash due to null pointer access later. Let's see how dynamic cast is performed with the polymorphic data pointer data types. As shown here, we have a shark class derived from the base class fish. In the code snippet, it is shown that the shark pointer object is casted to the base data type fish pointer. This type of casting from derived to base class is called upcasting. In this example, we can see that upcast can be performed to any base class from any levels of derived class. Here, the pointer object of most derived type tiger shark is dynamically casted to the super base class data type fish pointer. Upcast works even if there is no virtual table available. That is, even if there is no virtual functions in any of the inheritance hierarchies, the upcast can be performed. It just needs to be connected via inheritance. In this example, we are applying dynamic cast on base class pointer object and converting to derived class type. Such a casting from base class to derived class is called downcasting. For downcast to work, it is required that at least a virtual function must be present in the inheritance hierarchy. Dynamic casts work for all types of inheritance models. In case of multiple inheritance, need multiple casts till reach the desired pointer type. Here, it is not possible to dynamic cast from class D to class A using pointer object of class D. Attempting to cast from class D to class A will result in ambiguous error at compile time. This is because there are two possible paths to reach class A pointer. So it is necessary for the programmer to explicitly perform dynamic cast to an intermediate path and then cast to the actual required pointer path without ambiguity. So programmer have to manually resolve the ambiguity. Now we have studied about dynamic cast. Let's proceed to static cast. Static cast. The C++ language syntax for static cast operator is as shown here. Static cast perform compile time error checking. Static cast is primarily used for converting numeric data types such as enums to int or integer to float, and with the data type that you are certain of the types involved in the conversion. Static cast conversions are not safe as dynamic cast conversion because static cast does not have runtime type check, while dynamic cast does. A dynamic cast to an ambiguous pointer will fail, while a static cast return as if nothing were happened, and this is dangerous. The static cast operator can be used for operations such as converting a pointer to a base class to a pointer to derived class. Such conversions are not always safe. Performing static cast from base pointer to derived pointer type is not safe because the base class in most of the cases does not have all the members that the derived class have. Such a cast needs to be avoided from the program. But static cast from derived pointer to base pointer is always safe. This is because the derived class shall have all the data members layout of base class. The static cast operator can be used for operations such as converting a pointer to a base class to a pointer to a derived class. Such conversions are not always safe, that we have seen already. But the static cast is mostly used to use conversion between implicit conversion. That is as shown in the figure. We can use static cast to convert from integer to character, from float to double, etc. Now we have learned about two casts, dynamic cast and static cast. Let's proceed to const cast. Const cast. The C++ language syntax for constcast operator is as shown here. Constcast is used to cast away the constness of a variable. Never use constcast. A code that contains constcast is bug prone. Here, in the example, the constness of max count is casted away and obtained a non-const reference to the max count variable. Now, if the value of non-constant reference variable is changed, the actual constant is also modified. This is a very bad coding practice. Now let's look into the last C++ cast, reinterpret cast. The C++ language syntax for reinterpret cast operator is as shown here. Reinterpret cast allows any pointer to be converted into any other pointer type. It also allows any integer integral type to be converted into any pointer type and vice versa. Avoid usage of reinterpret cast. Misuse of the reinterpret cast operator can easily be unsafe. You should always try to use one of the other cast operators. The result of a reinterpret cast cannot safely be used for anything other than being casting back to its original type. Here, an example of unsafe cast using reinterpret cast is shown. Since reinterpret cast attempts to simply perform cast to the specified type without any compile time or runtime checking, the cast can result in totally unsafe behavior. Here too, unrelated pointers are used in the reinterpret cast. Now we have learned about all four types of C++ cast. Out of the four types of cast, avoid using const cast and reinterpret cast as much as possible. Also, use dynamic cast for cast between polymorphic data type. And finally, use static cast for performing any implicit conversion, including standard conversion and user-defined conversion. In this tutorial video, we have discussed about variables, variable types, C-style cast and C++ style cast. Hope you liked the video. Please let us know your doubts, suggestions and comments in the comment section below. If you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. Also, press the bell icon for getting notification about future videos. Please do like and share the video with your colleagues. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good day.